All right, I want to talk to you a little bit at the beginning of the week about um, what we're going to be learning with timekeeping, in particular, dealing with Clio. I say it's a timekeeping platform, but it's really a comprehensive practice management software. Its main competitor, I believe, is something called Rocket Matter. I've actually used both. I like Clio better just because it is a little more um, user friendly, easier to figure out as you go along. I think if you watch that video, the longer one, you'll um, if you watch it one time, basically as you go into working on Clio, it'll take care of itself. In other words, it'll be self-evident how to manipulate the categories. It's just if I can do it, anybody can. That's generally my experience with technology. Um, so when we say practice management, these softwares of various kind keep track of contacts or clients. Their client matters. It gives you an ability to keep time, to bill for your time, and the better ones also have a way of storing emails that you can send to the cloud-based data base and also store documents. They generally have about 5 terabytes of storage for an individual or small firm account. So it would take quite a bit of usage to use up that data, and of course you can get more. But Clio um, has, I think, all the features that any standard practice management would have. Most importantly, uh, as I say, the contact, the timekeeping, and the billing. Um, and any other programs are just sort of variations on that theme. Other proprietary software would have built in it maybe some graphics generation or some timeline or other kinds of litigation support, but those are a good deal more expensive and maybe not as good at doing those things as, say, having a good program that's stable and easy to use like Clio, and then when you need it, you can use those other litigation support platforms to do visual aids or timelines or to generate exhibits, demonstratives, and that kind of thing. And we'll talk about what all that is, like what a demonstrative is, later on when we get into the trial prep um, portion of this course. Uh, in addition to what you will see in that 30-minute video and what you can see in the user guide that's linked in the course materials also, in addition to all that, there are a lot of Clio related resources available at the like a YouTube page, the YouTube channel called Clio University. Um, they have a cloud conference every year. It's an in-person big event, generally at some destination city, where they try to get clients together, and it they have clips from those sessions where they'll have practice management tracks of one kind or the other, client development, marketing, and all that kind of stuff that maybe not directly related to Clio's core functions. But anyway, from those conventions, they have videos that are available. And there's even, since the COVID crisis began, a daily blog. There's more out there than you could possibly absorb, but there are videos that maybe go into a little bit more detail about some of these aspects uh, that are basic to utilizing Clio. It's a good thing that Calhoun has chosen Clio to be the student practice data or online platform, because I believe it is the most prevalent. And basically, the others copy Clio, and Clio has sort of perfected uh, its. Some of the bugs have worked out over time, and it's become better and better. So that's all I really have here. Clio, this portion is certainly the most learned by doing and learned by showing. So again, we're limited by the fact that we're having to do this as an online presentation rather than in person. But if you have any questions or issues, please let me know. One of the uh, important things that you're going to begin doing is, once you've set up the um, your student account, is to develop a client. Um, the instructions say name it after me. You can name it Clarence Darrow or anybody. If you don't know who Clarence Darrow is, look that up. But anyway, the time that you're putting into this course, doing the assignments and the tasks, you should record that like you're billing a client. And that'll help you learn how to use Clio. It will also help us quantify the amount of time you're putting into the course for purposes of evaluating your work, and for purposes of us understanding if these assignments have been too much or too little in trying to fill the 3.5 hour or so slot of time that's allotted to these summer uh, law office management classes, which is where this class is almost always taught. So you'll begin that, go back to week one, and bill that time also that you've put into um, the assignments in week one. I appreciate you all doing that. It's going to be a graded assignment, but it's something that helps us, and I think helps the student as well, because billing is the lifeblood of law practice. If you're not billing, you can't communicate to your clients that you are working, that perhaps you have exhausted a retainer and you need more money. And the way to best get that more money paid is to bill in a fashion that explains what you've been doing. Uh, I've always prided myself in having a bill, be many more pages than it might if it came from another lawyer, because you can basically read a story from my billing. You can tell what I've done and what I did on a given day, how I followed up with that on a later day, and what that was feeding into and building up to, and so on. So if you the more detail you put in the bill, the more quickly a client will pay it. So I would say in the process of recording your time, give me some detail, not just did the research assignment. Of course, it doesn't have to be some saga, but get in the practice of of delivering substantial bills for a client to digest. Um, and you can work with your lawyer on better representing um, his time, her time. There's something called block billing, where people will say they worked on these several things over the course of an entire day. The more you can get a lawyer to do, the more I spent this amount of time on this particular task. And even if it would happen within the same day or the same afternoon, breaking down and giving attention to the three tasks, and which one took zero point 0.5 and which one took 2.5. It'll help the client better see where your time is going, rather than them trusting that you spent a whole afternoon on just doing one thing and then another on their case. So specificity and some detail within reason is is important. Some of you may work in a setting where you're doing some indigent billing, indigent um, criminal defense billing, and your bills go to something called the Office of Indigent Defense Services, OIDS, and they are kind of like submitting a claim to an insurance company. They look for ways to deny it, uh, and that's where I really cut my teeth on this kind of billing, because I've never had a bill kicked back for lack of attention and uh, specificity, or breaking out the tasks into individual tasks and billing for each of them. I just learned to get past that possibility that somebody says, well, we can't tell what you've done, or you've not gone into enough detail. I give them too much detail. Um, and it's very important for me, for that agency that audits my bills, and sometimes 3 and 4 and 500 hour capital cases, um, to know that they may need to give my bill a cursory glance, but they don't have to get down in the weeds and see if I've got a bunch of BS packed in there just to make money. Um, the other thing is true for my ordinary hourly clients. I want them to, in time, pay that bill reflexively, not having to scrutinize every detail just to see if this guy is me. I'm fudging, or somehow or another making um, their money go poof and not have anything to show for it. So anyway, I think in the discussion boards and so on, we may have an opportunity to elaborate on some of this, but that's all for now. Some weeks we'll have a long lecture, some weeks we'll have a short one, but that's it for now. Thank you so much.